Some people are not left alone, they are left alone because they are chosen, just like Elon Musk. Many misunderstood his loneliness, but he was one of those who risked being alone. He chose to follow the truth, not the approval of the crowds, because some battles are entrusted only to the chosen ones. Chosen ones, you are not the subject of ordinary competition. People enter the race not because they admire you, but because they see in you a power that threatens them. Understand this difference. When it comes to you, it's not just about success. It's about how the potential you represent shakes them. The truth is right in front of you. They are not fighting for your place. They are fighting to reach your level. If you are ready to rise from the ashes, claim your God-approved love and take the next step. Press the like and subscribe buttons below and leave a 99 in the comments. Now, chosen one, let us move on. This competition, directed at you, is a sign of lasting impact, not temporary fame. Yes, they may be powerful, they may be famous, but what you have is different. True respect. Respect is like a silent acceptance coming out of fear. And people no longer applaud you, they recognize you. The fact that they are trying to beat you is a sign that they really take you seriously. Remember, the universe is talking to you right now. Everything that is happening is not random. Every challenge, every conflict, and every resistance is there to remind you how powerful the light within you is. You are not a passing glimmer, but a meteor piercing the sky. Your sphere of influence is not only visible, it resonates deep within. So don't be afraid if you are alone. Sometimes being alone is the beginning of the greatest transformation. And just like Elon, one day you will look back and realize that you are not alone, because the universe has been supporting you all along. Real power is about having an indisputable presence, not being the center of attention. The air becomes electric and the atmosphere changes. This is respect, not fame. Study your surroundings and see how they change, adapt, and recalculate their entire being when you enter their orbit. Every bit of it, planned resistance, frenzied imitation, silent envy, is proof of your power. They are competing with forces that cannot be ignored, and right now that force is you. They do not compete with the insignificant, the irrelevant, or the helpless. Your voice has weight, not because it is loud, but because it is real. And your presence attracts attention. Your ideas spread not because they are fashionable, but because they are transformational. You are actively changing this planet, not just occupying space on it. Whether you donate $100, $200, or more, your support will enable us to share these words of love, hope, and faith with the world. You are going about your daily business, following your route and focusing on your goal, when suddenly, without notice, invitation, or permission, someone else turned your journey into their own race. People are competing in a race you never entered, but you are not entering. Observe how others are trying to outdo you, how they are trying to outshine you, how they are having a hard time surpassing you, while you are just being, creating, and just being. They imitate your movements, your precise strategy, your precise calculations, and your precise plan. They reflect your own talent, your different look, your different taste, and your different methodology. They take your words, your strong language, your gripping stories, and your transformational gestures. You will be materially abundant for the next 48 hours. Write 88 to confirm that what you are about to learn today will change your life. But beware of one important fact. This is desperation, not admiration. These are competitors trying to surpass you, not admirers rejoicing in your greatness. They want to take your place, not stand next to you. Their behavior reveals everything, including how they scrutinize every move you make, how they dissect every success you achieve, and how they evaluate every tactic you use. This is an obsession with competition, not a passing curiosity. The fact that competition is unfair, unbalanced, and unequal, makes it even more illuminating. One force against many opponents, one force against many obstacles, you against many people. We have activated our Join membership for you. You can check out our privileges by clicking the Join button below. We invite you to become a Join member to make you more special. When the universe places you in a situation where many people are competing for the same thing, where the majority focuses on a minority and the crowd targets the individual, it is not fame, it is respect. Instead of banding together against the weak, uniting against the helpless, or challenging the insignificant, they organize against what they value. What frightens them most about you is that you are inimitable. Their terror stems from something more fundamental than conscious cognition, more primitive than logical comprehension, more profound than intellectual understanding. They feel it in their bones, sense it in their blood, and feel it in their bones. They believe that success can be achieved by deciphering a formula, memorizing a pattern, or copying a system. They think that they can only be like you if they pay enough attention to you, if they imitate you correctly, and if they copy you well enough. But what you have cannot be copied, imitated, or duplicated, because your power comes from truth rather than method. Your influence comes from authenticity, not technique. Your impact comes from your essence, not your approach. They rush to imitate your essence, not realizing that authenticity cannot be bought, borrowed, stolen, or manufactured. Observe their frantic efforts, their desperate attempts and trial attempts. They buy the same equipment, adopt the same postures, speak the same language, and travel the same routes. But no matter how hard they try, no matter how seriously they take it, no matter how committed they are to their endeavors, or how focused they are, they will never succeed. They will never hit the target, and they will never have the spark. Because your power comes from within, not from without. It is your soul that gives you power, not your exterior. It is depth that gives you power, not vanity. That is why people can imitate your techniques, but they can never imitate your magic. Therefore, they can imitate your movements, but they can never match your charisma. Therefore, they can imitate your choices, but they can never imitate your power. And this reality, this indisputable fact, this inescapable truth, and this unalterable principle drives them crazy. They cannot understand why their exact copies produce imprecise effects, why their perfect imitations produce imperfect effects, and why their exact copies produce imprecise results. The solution is simple but profound. Authenticity cannot be imitated. Being authentic in a world full of imitations, original in a world full of copies, and real in a world full of reproductions, earns you respect. They will fight you fiercely for their authenticity, their unyielding authenticity, their uncompromising truth, and their unbreakable authenticity. Make no mistake, you are the target of a conflict right now. In the physical world where bodies move and actions speak, in the digital world where words travel and pictures circulate, and in the energetic realm where intentions are realized and vibrations resonate. The battlefield exists in both the visible and invisible worlds, with weapons of status and jealousy rather than steel and gunpowder. Battlefields of influence and perception, not battlefields of mud and stone, not with soldiers in uniform, but with people in disguise. This conflict began quietly, secretly, and strategically, without any prior announcement, proclamation, or declaration. Former companions who once stood by your side, encouraged, and defended you, have become opponents. Former supporters, people who once praised your achievements, cheered you on, and encouraged your progress, became obstacles. Even people you've never met, spoken to, or had a relationship with have identified themselves as enemies. They analyze an enemy force and study you with the rigor of military strategists. They plot against you with the dedication of generals, organizing an important campaign. They advance towards you with the precision of troops carrying out a critical mission. Yet, for all their preparation, planning, and accuracy, they fail, fall short, and miss their target. Because their fight is not with you, but with their own shortcomings. They are not fighting against your presence, but against their own absence. Their conflict reveals their weakness, not your strength. They believe they can take your place, as if your role is a position to be filled rather than a formidable opponent. All they did was show their anxiety, their focus, and their obsession. Your superstar status is not shown by this silent battle, this unannounced fight, this undeclared war, or this unrecognized struggle. Celebrities deal with fans and detractors. You deal with rivals and adversaries. That is respect, not fame. They don't fight with irrelevant things. They don't fight with trivial things. They fight with things they value. When direct competition, head-to-head battles, simple opposition, and open competition fail, they turn to darker strategies. These strategies come from shadow worlds, hidden dimensions, and secret places where reality is distorted and truth perverted. Examine the pattern closely. Pay attention to the sequence and study the development. Because they cannot destroy you, they try to redefine you. Because they cannot conquer, they try to recast your strength as weakness. Because they cannot match your influence, they try to reframe it as manipulation. Unable to match your influence, they try to categorize it as damage. Rumors multiply, accusations fly, stories circulate, narratives emerge, smear campaigns begin, and whispers start. Suddenly, you are confronted with accusations that distort your reality, claims that distort your truth, and tales that corrupt your life. Observe how they portray themselves as victims of your success, and how false victimization arises. Notice how they portray themselves as victims of your success, and how they portray themselves as victims of your progress. Your progress has wounded them. Your progress has wounded them, and your progress has wounded them. It is all an effort to reduce your dignity, to lower your stature, to lower your position. A desperate, deliberate, and conscious effort. They have tried to bring you down to their level because they cannot rise to your level. They have tried to lower your altitude because they cannot rise to your level. They cannot reach your height, so they try to make you smaller. But what they fail to realize is that real people can see all this. Individuals with real judgment, knowledge, insight, and understanding do not fall for created narratives, accept false reports, or believe made-up fairy tales. Smear tactics are seen by them as desperation masquerading as justice. They see fake anger for what it is, competition disguised as concern. They see public attacks for what they are, fear disguised as respect. Celebrities are not the target of these deceptive tactics, devious plans, or manipulative techniques. Celebrities deal with gossip and rumors. You have to deal with deliberate efforts to destroy your reputation. This is respect, not fame. They systematically target what they admire, rather than deliberately attacking the irrelevant, deliberately humiliating the weak, or denigrating the strategically unimportant. Recognize this distinction, this important difference, this important division, this important contrast. Respect is not the same as fame. Let us examine something down to its most basic reality, to its cosmic essence, to its fundamental truth. Respect is about reverence. Fame is about recognition. Respect is about being feared. Fame is about being recognized. Respect is about power. Fame is about popularity. They want to think that they are dealing with a celebrity, someone whose importance comes from popularity, whose value comes from exposure, whose value comes from recognition. But what they are dealing with is not a celebrity, but a power that can be felt without stages, seen without spotlights, and experienced without platforms. You don't need to be recognized to have power, praised to have influence, or accepted to have influence. Because true power, legitimate power, indisputable power, and real power is found in being, not in a title, position, or status. This explains why you can quietly shake rooms, change atmospheres without saying anything, and change dynamics without taking any action. All it takes to throw them off balance and weaken their position is your presence, your basic presence, your basic being, and your basic reality. This reality absolutely challenges them, confuses them, and disturbs them relentlessly. They believe that authority must be proclaimed, influence must be promoted, and power must be accompanied by fanfare. Even if you don't have the usual indicators of success, achievement, or progress, you can still manage to command respect without expecting attention. You are very dangerous to them because of this paradox, this apparent contradiction, this apparent inconsistency, and this perceived disharmony. You have achieved what they believe to be unattainable. Respect without trust. Respect independent of their approval, acceptance, or approval. This is sovereignty, not fame. And they compete with what they respect, not with the dependent, the poor, or the dependent. It is a global truth, a divine principle, a natural rule, and a cosmic fact that they cannot avoid. Justice always prevails. This is cosmic math, universal physics, and spiritual science, not wishful thinking, optimistic imagination, or hopeless fantasy. Justice happens naturally, spontaneously, and inevitably, not through forced participation, controlled outcomes, or manufactured responses. They have tried to capture your essence, to drain you of your vitality, to absorb your might and seize your power. But because essence can only be embodied and not taken, they could never hold it, control it, or possess it. Energy can only be created. It cannot be taken. Power can only be developed. It cannot be taken. This explains why their attempts to abuse your power, to seize your influence and use your influence for their own gain, always fail. Truth always wins. Unquestionable truth, unchanging truth, unrelenting truth. Real power is tangible and cannot be taken. It is expressed. It cannot be transferred. It is visible and cannot be copied. See what happens to those who try to compete with you unfairly. See what happens to those who try to change you unfairly. And note the results of those who try to undermine you dishonestly. They have had to chase ghosts, follow shadows, look for ghosts and follow ghosts, while you keep climbing, moving forward, rising up. It is not that you are focused on defeating them, overcoming them, or conquering them. It is that you are focused on your own course, your own journey, your own goal, your own purpose. Your fame is not driven by this biological balance, this natural justice, this inevitable equalization, or this instinctive harmony. The reactions that celebrities face are shaped by public opinion. You are seeing results planned by universal law. This is respect, not fame. The cosmos does not do justice for the irrelevant, restore order for the insignificant, or balance the scales for the trivial. The cosmos remains in balance for what it values. Before you reach the ultimate finale, you need to grasp something profound about your role in this cosmic game. Your ascension is not accidental, haphazard, or random. Rather, it is governed by cosmic laws. A star does not ask permission to shine when it reaches critical mass. A volcano does not ask permission to explode when it has built up enough pressure. Lightning does not ask permission to strike when it has enough charge. When circumstances demand it, natural forces take over. Your prestigious position, this arrangement of authority, this important status, and this powerful position has come about because the group as a whole requires it. It is not possible for the cosmos to produce purposeless power, purposeless force, or dysfunctional energy. You are where you are because it is necessary for cosmic balance. This is why their attempts to change you, to displace you, and to undermine their plans in this direction have always failed. What they are fighting is not simply another individual. but the global design. They are not simply against another person. They are against the order of the cosmos. They are not simply against an opponent. They are against the natural order. And they will always lose this fight, this pointless endeavor, this hopeless struggle. This battle they cannot win. You may be more skillful, but not because of that. Even so, not because you are more determined. That may be true, but not because you are more strategic. However, because you are in alignment with something greater than human endeavor, something that goes beyond personal endeavor. You are in harmony with cosmic purpose. It is this alignment with higher powers, this alignment with greater powers, and this alignment with universal principles that really sets you apart from your competitors. You are the embodiment of purpose. They fight for space. They fight for prestige. You fight for importance. They fight for attention. You make things happen. They cannot stop, prevent, or block the inevitable rise of your cosmic significance. They can try to stop fire from burning, water from flowing, and gravity from pulling. No one can suppress natural forces forever. You now fully understand, fully grasp, and deeply realize the true motivation of the competition that surrounds you. Their competition is proof of your dignity, not your reputation. Their obsession with outperforming you is proof that you have already won, not that you are famous. Their obsession to take your place shows your power, not your popularity. As a result of this realization, this deep understanding, this profound insight, and this transformational awareness, you should see everything around you differently. The opposition is positional rather than personal. It is an organizational challenge rather than an individual one. Challenges are polite and not arbitrary. They compete because you represent something they want to be, wish to be, or hope to realize. Let them run against the shadows, ghosts, projections, and pictures of their own making, while you remain the norm, the benchmark, and the reference point. Let them exhaust themselves trying to compete with a distorted version of you, a misrepresented picture of you, or a wrong point of view, while you continue to change beyond their comprehension. Let them fight for your old position, the space you once inhabited, the place you once filled, the place you once held, while you rise to heights they cannot yet conceive. It is not your job to join their competition, their anxious bickering, their desperate struggles, or their frantic races. Your job is to understand what your competitors are revealing. You have earned respect. You have gained something far more valuable than fame. You have achieved something far more lasting than notoriety. And you have accomplished something far more powerful than popularity. This is not the superficial respect that comes from agreement, admiration, or success. Rather, it is the deep respect that comes from threat, the real respect that comes from fear, and the authentic respect that comes from recognizing one's own power. This is respect that changes realities, paths, and atmospheres. It is the kind of respect that involuntarily demands acceptance, involuntarily seeks attention, and involuntarily expects attention. It is the kind of respect that causes people to compete with you, oppose you, and challenge you, who would otherwise run away from you. Stay true to this cosmic truth. People compete with you fiercely because they respect you, not because you are a celebrity. Moreover, in the vast cosmic order, in the worldwide hierarchy, in the divine arrangement, and in the natural structure, respect always triumphs over fame. When fame wanes, when popularity wanes, and when fame eventually ends, respect remains. Keep this in mind, apply this idea, and embrace this reality. Because when you stop looking for approval and really understand that it is not your fame that approves you, it is their competition, you realize that it has already happened through their competition. The message is clear, the revelation is complete. The cosmos has spoken. You are respected, but not honored. And that is what makes all the difference in the cosmic order. Accept your respect, recognize your might, and realize your power. Your position is confirmed, not undermined by the competition around you. Click the subscribe button to stay in touch and be part of a community that values self-acceptance, healing, and progress. To support us, donate by clicking the Super Thank button below. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, like it, and leave a comment. Every share, like, and comment makes a big difference in getting the word out to the people who need it most. Let's keep moving forward together because you deserve to be surrounded by positive people, not negative ones. See you at the next one. May you be blessed.